Hey Blitzers, it's Ronan. We saw a video by Lek in the pretty awesome Shark the other day, the T54E2 Shark. He was playing with Tank Destroyer 660, and it kind of inspired me to get good with this tank. I have struggled with it for absolutely no reason, and this morning Tanky and I were playing, and I actually looked at the tank before the games, believe it or not. Maybe this morning before I started playing, and got a better handle on its armor and some of the other features of the tank that I wanted to just highlight. I got inspired by watching Lek play. I figured if Lek can do it, anybody can. So we are Naval Frontier here, and Tanky is going to take the aggressive spotting position above B in his awesome Defender MK1, also one of my favorite tanks. And I'm pulling the Shark up to C. I kind of sense that their heavies may go A, and to look at the lineup, figured no need to take them. The E75, the K91 head on, also an Emil, just didn't feel like having a hull down snipe fest with them. I was, I guess, right about some of them going that way, but also interestingly, their 1390 AMX 1390 and also their M3 Yo went up top, which is a unique thing. So in typical manner here, I went ahead and capped C, of course bounced a shot to open the video. I mean, otherwise, what fun would there be? Notice their M3 didn't even look at me, and it seems kind of stupid. So I also noticed they have a K91 that is now kind of on that hillock there. I took the risk there of the speed of the tank, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a sec, to try to get into a one-on-one with this M3, knowing that I could probably bounce some shots, and I sure did. Tanky flew over, got a shot into him as well, and what you're seeing here is crazy Tanky. Tanky was playing super aggressive this morning, which I love because it let me actually not play as aggressive as I normally do. So we quickly cleared the M3. It's 6 on 6 right now. We do have C cap by me. There goes the Hori clears at 1390. We like the new banners, by the way. Wargaming actually did something good for once. Then their ISU was spotted there. The K91 repositioned to go towards B along with the E75, but their ISU stayed in that spot. Now, that spot down there when you're in it is good in some respects. But really bad if you've got tanks where Tanky and I were up there, because it's really hard to hide. And also their E75, I'm not quite sure what he was doing. So I repositioned. I was worried about Tanky's HP, wanted to see if I could draw the shots out. Unfortunately, that didn't quite perfectly work out. But now it is a 5-on-4. And you realize I'm in full health. I've got the only base cap, and there's the WZ-111. And again, Tanky played this really well. I know he's not perfectly visible, but notice that he's using the hill there with his gun depression with the MK1, and I am just helping him as much as I can. I was trying to turn this 111 since I have full health, nearly full health. And then I got some help here from this 3. So quickly cleared their 111. I thought this game was over, and I was just going up here to start sniping and realizing all of a sudden that they have nearly a full health K91. They have a full health. They had a full health E75, and their Emil was still had some life left in him. So good news for me here. This wasn't that difficult of a battle, but I could kind of smell the mastery here because I had the only base cap. That was an unfortunate. I'm not sure what that was. I guess a ricochet. I was able to track him. And yeah, so I mean, E75 is stupid, but I wanted to distract him, which I did. And you know, one of the things that I will jump into the armor here before I play the next game. The armor of this tank is so great. It is a little bit. It's not simple armor. It's not like playing a KV5 or 4 or something like that, or a VK100. But it has epic armor. Its turret is just impenetrable. And couple that with tremendous reverse speed, tremendous total speed, and an epic cannon. I think the dispersion on this puppy is .297. Under 3 dispersion for a tier 8 heavy is always sincerely appreciated. It's got the 310, the 105 to 310 alpha, but I think you're in good shape here. There it is with APCR, easily clear the K91, which is not an easy tank to shoot in the front, or I think he was angled. And that's pretty much all she wrote here. And I think the reason I got a somebody cleared, nice little clear there. I think the reason I got the mastery here was that I was the only base capped. Did about 3,500 damage, bounced 1,000, base XP 1418. Tanky Thanks for the help there. 2395 damage, 975. So fun game there, and pretty easy game. The next one was not easy, but it was, I think it shows the tank a little bit more. Let me just jump into the armor of the lovely tank here. So if you look at this tank straight up, straight on, you know, you can pen certain things, but not the turret. The hatch, of course, you can. And the hatch isn't small, so especially if you're sloping down, you know, the hatch has some points. And the lower plate is low, you know, you're going to get penned on easily. Now, you angle this thing at all, and you get it hauled down, so that lower plate's covered. There is just simply no penning this thing. Look, I'm clicking everywhere around the turret. You're at very high values, again, except for the hatch. So, you know, especially depending on where you are, you know, you can hide the hatch if you need to, although that hatch is not big enough to get a lot of shots. You may get the occasional medium to pop you in it, but it's got a tremendous turret, and the upper plate as well is very strong. You angle this thing right, this puppy will bounce shots for all day long. I knew that. The thing I was making mistakes with was I was overextending and exposing my lower plate too often with the tank, which is totally unnecessary. You got -10 gun depression. You don't need to overextend, and if you keep your lower plate under covered, as I think I do here a couple of times, you're just going to bounce shots all day long. And with, you know, the DPM of the tank is good, 2200 or so. I do calibrate it. I want that additional pen, although that can be argued. And I think I was calibrating it because I was using a turret. I think I typically would probably use the rammer. Yeah, I think you can really do a lot of good here. So right away, Tanky gets aggressive here. I think this was a subsequent battle, and pushes the B-cap, actually stopping the B-cap, which was critical. I actually went to the passive position here under this, under the arch here, and again, trying to keep my lower plate down, get an easy shot into this IS-5. And as the setup goes here, the enemy team pretty much set up a very similar position to ours, trying to get, you know, obviously the B-cap. So it wasn't one of these bad battles where things were all over the place, except for their T59, who was out of position and got demolished there by our Rev and the other guys. It's 7-on-6 now. Their Jagdtiger is, I really was trying to get, this was probably the limitations of the Shark, especially after this Jag has been buffed to oblivion here with its armor a couple of updates ago. I couldn't get any shots out, even with this accurate cannon and APCR, which has got about, I think the APCR is a pen of right around 280 plus whatever. So I was a little bit surprised I couldn't do anything there, and I more or less gave up. Notice here the E75 starts to push, and I wanted to help. You can see the E75 was that good player. I looked at him after the match, so he did good stuff. I realized quickly here I'm going to have to help Tanky if there's any chance. And you notice the Progetto there was on your left. I don't think Tanky noticed that, and I think that's what ended up doing it. So I just took some opportunistic shots, and I knew the second Tanky went over there, he was dead. So I tried to stop him, but you know that's how the game goes sometimes. If you don't notice a tank, the tank may have cleared their camo at this point. So now we're at a 4-against-5. I lost Tanky, who's a great player. I wasn't feeling too hot on this one. I think this one is where the tank started performing remarkably well. I managed to also be relatively full health. And I noticed this Jag finally pushed out of this position. And there's the, you know, by the way, there's the, if you want to shoot a Jag's ammo rack, its left cheek is a good place to do so. I got there 2 times, ammo rack. I got him racked twice. Didn't overall explode, unfortunately. All right, 3-on-5 right now. And it's getting dicey here. I thought we were lost. See, there's the ammo rack again. I thought this was a loss. The tank's got a -20, and the -20 really helps you. See how I'm pivoting back and forth? I know there's a tank behind me, and even though there's a tank behind me, even though there's a tank behind me, I was able to quickly dive back, move forward, and get that. There's the IS-5 from earlier. I was able to clear in, and I don't know why this Jag didn't shoot yet. I guess maybe just a really long reload. His ammo rack was damaged, but it shouldn't have slowed him down. And notice the speed. This thing has, it's got good speed, it has poor traverse. The speed is good. I was able to get out of there. I did take a shot from the Jag. This was stupid, but I had to clear it. I had no choice here, I guess. And that brought it to a 3-on-2. Notice we do have a T95. Never saw him the entire battle. And we have a Vickers who was doing something. And that that Pantera had no business doing that. I mean, I baited him so easily. And really, that's all she wrote. The 1085, I don't think did anything in this match. I just realized, actually rewatching it, that he was full health. So theoretically, we're in good shape, unless the E75 could have cleared him. And so that is it. That's the Shark. That's been reviewed before. This is not a full tank review. I don't know what this guy was doing in the Vickers. He's driving reverse, looking at it. It was rather interesting. The guy had like 4,000 damage. I assumed he brain in his head. Didn't look there much there at the end. So did 2,400 or so damage. Blocked about 700, but this is such a good tank. If you own it, play it. It's really got a lot of really cool things and is worth a try and a game. It's a fun thing to do. All right, guys, enjoy. Hope you enjoyed the video, and please stop.